Welcome back to the show, everyone. Craig and Jonah here today. So we have sort of a good news, bad news, or whatever, and we were debating on which one to go first. So I'm going to tell mine, which it's okay, but I think it's a very telling situation that a lot of people go through that I went through. So last night, we were supposed to record yesterday morning, and then something came up, and we decided to reschedule today. And so we record early in the mornings. On days that I'm recording, my wife gets up and has to get the kids ready for school, etc. And then on days that I'm not, I'll stick around and I'll cook breakfast and stuff, and then come into the office around the time that the kids go to school. So yesterday morning, I woke up and I was sitting there drinking my coffee. My wife came down. I said, "Oh, I thought you were supposed to be recording this morning." I said, "Yeah, we had something come up. We're gonna do it tomorrow instead." I'm pretty certain I said that.
I'm sorry to contribute to your stress level.
It's all right. It's been good. It's been really good. But I'm pretty certain I mean, I'm very you start to question reality once you get confronted about things.
Yeah, that happens.
Start to question your own name and identity. And
Pretty much any fact.
yeah, yep.
The sky can be green, the sky can be orange, or whatever.
When my wife has a distinct recollection about something, I'll literally question anything. I'll question whether I'm here right now.
What is reality?
What is reality? So that was that was yesterday morning, and so last night we so one of our sons who's in high school is going out of town today for a school function and had to be up at the school early. And she's like, and his truck is broke down right now, and so I have to take him in. So that's good, because I'm going to be in recording with Joan anyway. It's like, oh, I didn't know about that. Like, it's never like, oh, did you tell me that or something? It's like, I didn't know that, you dumbass. What other secrets you got going on in your life? That's what it feels like. It feels like an interrogation immediately.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about those words, but you're right. That is kind of like I don't know if dagger is the right word, but it just sticks you. Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, yeah. It's just and I don't think I don't know. I don't even claim to know what goes through my wife's mind when she says things, but I don't think it was she. So she has this very strong desire to know what's going on and when it's going on, and if I'm not particularly good about providing her with what's going on, that's hard for her. Whatever. I mean, I'm saying she's wrong. I'm just saying, and I'm not
most people like to be kept in the loop.
Yeah. And her level of being kept in the loop is beyond what I consider is natural for me. So I'm artificially trying to.
What would you consider to be natural?
Yeah, just natural law and all that. So
I don't know really how you fix that situation, other than you get instant replay in your house, and then you can go back and
say, record everything
right here.
I mean, I've gone to
throw the red challenge flag.
Instant replay. Well, so it goes on. So then, yeah. So this is where things get, I don't know, juicy in my mind. So that had happened, and then so we were sitting down. I had gotten all the kids to bed except the youngest, who's a year old. It's just terror, and she's up, and we're kind of waiting her out.
And
it
is exhausting.
Oh man,
it's like that in our house too.
Yeah, and I don't like to leave my wife up with her alone, so I stay up and with them and with her. And so we were sitting on the floor talking, and I was going through the next day, and I was just, again, I'm trying to be more. I just walked right into a bear trap. You could. So
it's like Indiana Jones, where he sets off that trap and the big boulder comes rolling down.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, where are you? Hold on.
There's nowhere to run.
So we're sitting around, and so Tuesday. So today's a Tuesday. So Tuesdays and Fridays I'm in another town for work. Otherwise the other days I'm local. And so today I have to go into my main office, and so I was just saying, okay, so what we got going on tomorrow? So you've got a staff meeting and whatever. And she's like, that's not your concern.
What?
Or it doesn't concern you. I'm like, I mean, I was literally just trying to be like, she's like, I'm like, well, I was just trying to know that doesn't concern you. You're going to be in town all day, and I've got it all taken care of.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah. But there was like a dagger went right through me. I was like,
Another one.
oh, I was just like, oh, I'm just, I mean, I've been reprimanded many times in the past for like not taking an active involvement in what's going on at home. And I was genuinely just trying to, because I knew we had that, and then we had some other school activities and tonight. And so I was just trying to, we were just sitting there waiting for our baby to go to sleep, and I was just trying to be engaged, and I just got woof. And I so my reaction to and that hurt. I mean,
Yeah,
it really hurt.
Comments are difficult.
It really hurt.
Sure.
And but I immediately didn't think I don't think she meant to be hurtful about it, but it hurt me. And so and then I think she kind of realized it, because I tend to get real quiet.
Sure.
When that, like, I was like, all right, I got up and I started putting dishes away and stuff. And then she was kind of getting chatty again, like, oh, it's, kind of back to normal or whatever. And I don't know. I mean, I don't call it pouting or whatever, but I heard I didn't, it just felt different.
It is kind of like getting hit upside the head with a 2x4.
Yeah.
Like you don't expect it. And then,
yeah, it was totally out of the blue.
I understand the feeling.
And so anyway, I went up. So she finally fell asleep, and I went upstairs, and I, it's kind of late.
First time alone time.
So in the past,
that's when trouble happens.
it was.
Yeah. Well, I know. I get it.
Fortunately, I'm in a little better place right now. So did not break the streak, folks.
Well, that's good. Keep the streak.
Yeah. So I and so I laid there and I felt really uncomfortable, and I couldn't sleep last night.
Oh. Well, that's too bad.
That's usually how I fall into those old, it's sleep aid, I guess, but I didn't.
Well, that's true too.
Yeah. And I just so as I'm kind of going through in my mind, I knew it hurt me. Like, those feelings are real, but I didn't really think that she did it maliciously or purposely, but it hurt me. And I, as I've tried to become more, I don't want to say adult-like in our relationship, actually, I think this is something the women often want. They want us to validate their feelings, even if we don't think we did anything wrong or whatever. And I'm like intentionally and purposely trying to be better about that.
Sure.
But I don't know that it's a two-way street.
Well, in reality, we do live by two different sets of rules in a lot of ways.
So as I'm hearing little Jimmy on relationships going through the back of my mind, like, okay, you're supposed to get up and say, honey, what you said hurt me.
Oh gosh, you want to fight?
Nope.
Yeah.
And so we didn't resolve it. And in my mind, like I said, I don't think she meant anything maliciously by it. But I had hurt. I didn't see how making her feel bad because I hurt was helping the situation. So I just
kind of made a move
tonight. So I just kind of saddled that little you know, episode and just wore it myself. And I think that's how a lot of guys handle those things.
I think that's how it's supposed to be because, like you said, you're not going to walk back in there and say something like that because it's not going to go well. I don't care what Jimmy on relationship says. Like that doesn't really work in real life.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a combination of fear of like getting into a fight, and number two, I don't feel the need to burden my wife with things that are bothering me. Like I genuinely love my wife and care about her. Um
So I am familiar with the situation as well. Like I know how that feels, and but I think that you're just supposed to take that. I don't know how you fix that situation or what you do in the moment because if you talk about it, it won't. It'll get worse before it gets better because there's a reason that
that's
whatever
what my
was said.
experience tells me. That's what my experience tells me. It's there's no good outcome if I bring it up and whatever. But
You just got to go work out or something. That's all you can do.
yeah, I don't know. But it's
Like, I don't know.
I don't know what to do in that situation because I did hurt, and I I like to think that she would not want me to be hurt, even if it's something that she said that caused it, even if she didn't mean it. I don't know. I guess I'm a big baby when it comes to bringing those things up, and and it's just the reason I brought it up is that we got together this weekend. We were talking about mother-in-laws.
Dangerous topic.
Yeah,
I can see your eyes get big when I brought it up that one time.
yeah.
It's like throwing a snake on the table.
My wife. So we've had some difficulties in our house with mother-in-laws. Not my mother-in-law, my wife's mother-in-law, and what have I
Good to
started?
make the distinction.
What have I started here?
Yeah. Now we're going down a rabbit hole.
I think I can keep this little snake contained here. So there were some times when my my parents did not have well established boundaries, and my wife brought up you were there. She brought up this letter that we had drafted in the past, and apparently it was my fault that never got sent. But
it sounded like that.
Yeah, it felt similar because I was very certain that what was bothering my wife was not done maliciously by my parents. It was hurtful, I think, but not maliciously. And I'm very reluctant to call someone out um because what they did hurt me or us when I don't think they necessarily did it intentionally. And that's probably my mistake. I think that's probably why we have the problems we have, is because I
We're getting deep.
don't confront issues. But to bring it full circle,
It's a fair connection.
It's that I think, again, I don't want to generalize too much. I think a lot of women have this desire to have their feelings validated by their husbands, and their husbands sympathetic to that and not get all defensive. And that's actually something I work on, because that's one Jimmy on the relationships. I shared that recording this weekend. I thought it was really good. Is like one of the things that happens when our spouse tells us that they're hurt by something that we did. If we know we didn't do anything on purpose, like it was an innocent mistake or whatever, we become defensive. That's what I do, and we need to, I guess, according to him, not do that. Um, and so I think that my wife, for example, has these situations where she's been hurt and wants the other person to know about it, irrespective of whether there was any malice intent. But I don't know that it's reverse if I'm in that situation. I don't know. It bothered me and I think it's a common situation, and I suspect that there's a lot of guys out there that can relate to that.
Totally. And I mean, I don't know, even if you walked in there like you were hurt, and I think that maybe she knew that it bothered you because she got chatty. Like
Yeah,
that
it
is
felt like she
that
knew
is
right away.
very
Yeah.
typical I think at least if I am hurt and I do the same thing where I just start doing other things quietly, then she'll talk to me even more. And I think she recognizes that something happened, but doesn't want to discuss it maybe. And so even if you went in there and said, I'm sorry that I didn't, tell you my plans for tomorrow, I just don't see how that would go great either. Like if you're acknowledging, what caused the issue at first.
I'm not very good about apologizing, and I would say my wife is not very good about apologizing. That's a pretty common thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I think she acknowledged that it bothered me, but not enough to like come over and say, honey, I'm sorry, whatever. Like, I don't know. And so it was just kind of another little, I don't know, one of those little injuries that you take on that, I don't know, we probably would benefit from some, just ongoing training or whatever. I think
like continuing education,
continuing marital education.
It's true.
I'm convinced of it, and I don't know why. In our experience, like I would do that in a heartbeat. I don't think my wife would be all that excited about it.
Because I'm
not sure
many couples issues are very similar. Just like that same situation you just described. I mean, that happens every day. To people.
No, I do want to bring it because we can't have this show without talking about sex. I wanted to bring it full circle. So, so I was, in the past, and this wasn't an issue because last night wasn't our night, but if it's one of those, if you're in that situation, I know for sure I have steered away from confronting my wife about things when it's close to that time because I don't want to like muck it up.
Good plan.
So anyway, what was it? Gratuitous and unnecessary reference to sex. But
well, do you think that if last night had been your night and that would have happened, it would have been a deal breaker?
Well,
could you have risen to the occasion?
Let me say this, because I think this is true. This is especially true because we're on a much more frequent intimacy schedule than we used to be. I think I would have been more comfortable taking up that fight and even jeopardizing intimacy because I'm not strung out to the last bitter moment where in the past I'd be like, something's gonna give. And I would have been, I would say if you're in that deep PMAS period and you're just, I would think it would be more in my mind about how do I not let this situation get out of control. I opted not to do it last night anyway, but in my mind I was like, well, if a fight breaks out, so to speak, it's okay, even if it carries over today is our day. It's you're like, it's okay if things get postponed a day or two, that's okay.
It's not longer than that.
Not longer than that. We're in the dangerous territory.
It's all very fragile.
It is so.
It's true.
So I was thinking like this is the first situation where our better intimacy schedule makes conversations like this more possible. Like I said, in the past where I was just like, you're just trying to get to the end and whatever, and if something would have thrown that off a day, that just
can derail the whole train.
Yes.
It's true.
I hope people can figure out what that cryptic exchange all means, but it's just
they've watched more than 3 episodes. They can
yep. I mean, I do think that if intimacy is happening on a schedule that's not just always where the man is always at the end of his rope, I think it's you got to you got some room for error. You got a runaway truck ramp that you got if you need it.
It's true.
So anyway, well, thought I would share that. Fortunately, my wife has quit listening to this show a long time ago, so I'm not too worried about her.
And if anybody has any ideas on how to handle that situation, we would love to hear it.
Yeah.
And pretty much any other guy listening.
Yeah, if you're a guy and you can relate to that, let us know. If you're a wife and you think we're full of crap, I guess let us know too. But I'm just telling you my real experience. I've been told by good authority that our experiences are important and we got to be real and honest about it. So I'm doing that.
Yeah.
So, all right.
All right.
Well, if you sat through that one, we have another one coming up that I think is going to be more uplifting. So
we'll see.
So, all right. Well, thank you, Jonah. Until next time, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good one.